Almost every brand that I talk to wants quality creators. I spoke with a brand owner very recently doing multi seven figures on their D2C platform, and they were looking to understand why can't our ROI increase over time? What is happening within our TikTok shop that's stopping us from being able to increase our profitability and get to a point where we can actually make sense of TikTok shop? And that opened up some more analysis. We looked into GMV Max, we had a look at the TikTok shop in general, and came to a conclusion about what actually happened. And the reason that I want to record this video is because I see a lot of brands struggling with this when it comes to the idea of what quality even means, both for the creator and also the content that's needed in order to drive actual growth on TikTok shop and impact your omnipresent channels across your D2C brand online everywhere. So this is gonna be broken into a two-part series. We're gonna be diving in and talking about quality, what that actually means, and how you can apply this into your brand specifically today to help you improve your content machine on TikTok shop. So what a quality creator actually is. We're gonna be talking about this a little bit and breaking this down and going through what this actually means. The first thing that I want to get into is talking about quality, okay? The word quality reminds me of a similar word that people refer to, which is called branding. Branding is a word that people use to talk about the design elements or the experience of the brand or other subjective things that people like to refer to brand with. And I believe there's a similar sentiment with the word quality when it comes to TikTok shop. So what does quality even mean? How do we define this? I was recently invited to the Join Brands podcast where I talk specifically about quality that also sparked the idea to make a in-depth video here on the YouTube channel for you guys. What does that actually consist of? So the first thing is that quality doesn't mean followers, all right? It doesn't mean followers. Followers is not a component of quality. If you are looking to grow your TikTok shop brand presence and brand reputation, you might want to use a high follower count creator or celebrity to help endorse your product and create some trust with the actual market on TikTok shop. But in this case, we're focused on generating revenue here on the channel and generating more ROI. I know you guys are here for that reason, so followers is not important. What does it mean if we just look at GMV? Well, the problem is that when we look at just GMV, you can be isolating creators into specific segments or pockets where they've gone viral with a video or a video has gotten a lot of spend from another brand in their GMV Max campaign, and it's not a good representation of how good they are as a creator. And so you need to factor this in because if you look at their GMV only, it doesn't allow you to have the flexibility or understanding about what actual psychological components and what other marketing principles and fundamentals are going into how that content is being produced to create authenticity to the audience that you're marketing to. So GMV only is not the most important thing, and it's not what quality means. The appearance or ICP fit, right? And while important, this doesn't mean that it will solve all your problems. And I think there's a lot of people on TikTok shop that I talk to, a lot of brands that I think limit themselves, where they have a very specific ICP. And I think with TikTok shop, you need to look at this a little bit differently. You can't look at this as like, I need this person who looks this exact way, who has these exact interests. It's just not the best way to approach TikTok shop because yes, you want to protect your brand and have a certain identity and people that associate with you, but you miss out on many different opportunities to find new pockets of the market that increase your TAM, that allow you to reach new people that you would never have reached before. So you need to allow yourself, when you go to TikTok shop, the expectation is that you need to be open-minded. You need to allow yourself to let new people test your products. If they fit the bill with the quality that we're going to be talking about here in this video in part 1 and part 2, then you can actually take that and use it to qualify the types of people rather than just looking at your specific parameters. I'm not saying that you shouldn't consider those things, but it will limit your ability to scale as quickly as you want to because you're being very, very, very specific and limiting on who you actually accept, whether it's for sampling or it's pay per video or retainer, right? This is another thing that I see limiting brands a lot, which is a very specific. So I would also say, don't get too specific because it's an authentic platform. The goal is for the product to relate to specific market segments, and you may discover new profitable market segments through TikTok shop. The second thing is also their past content, okay? Their past content is also another thing that you can look at to see the performance, but again, it shouldn't be done in isolation. So what quality is not followers. It's not the appearance, which appearance can matter as we talked about. And big creators is important for awareness and also doing live streams, but we're not here to talk about live streams specifically. We're here to talk about actual video content. But live streams, it can be important to have those celebrities or those people with big personalities, right? Or big followings. So you could actually use that for that. So these are the things that quality is not. All right, so as we move through this, we're going to get to talking about what quality actually means, but let's first talk about the effort test, okay? So there's 4 questions that I like to ask myself, and we like to ask ourselves when we're looking for a quality creator. And so the first thing is, are they on camera, right? Do they actually show up on camera and show their face and talk to the camera, interact with the audience that they're speaking to? This is important because if they don't show up on camera, in my mind and what I see from creators is a lot more successful creators, consistently successful creators, are creating content where they're actually showing who they are and they're not hiding behind the camera and just doing POV content, or they're just showing the product, or they're just showing B-roll, right? Showing up and finding the human connection between the product, you, and the customer is very, very important. And you have to make sure that these creators that you're bringing on, either sampling, pay per video, retainers, whatever the agreement is with them, you need to make sure they're showing up. And so when you're looking at their profile, you need to ask yourselves, are they on camera themselves? That is an important qualification of what would check the box for an aspect of meeting that quality criteria. The second thing is talking about the product. Do they actually talk about the product, or are they using a trend sound or a voiceover or something that isn't necessarily created by them to discuss the product? Maybe it's something that is trending, but it's not really talking about the product. Now, there's something to be said about using trends, but what are they actually creating in terms of the like talking about the product, talking about the problem solution, creating good hooks, creating things that are going to attract people to be interested in the product and actually impulse buy, right? Those are things to factor. And so we're looking at talking about the product. And so as we check these off, these are all quality metrics that we look for and have been responsible for helping us generate $1 million a month with the brands that we work with. So if you're looking to generate $1 million a month or add $1 million a month to your TikTok shop, these are the things that we do. And this is how we look at how much effort these creators are actually putting in. The third thing is natural B-roll and not stock footage. So what we're looking for is B-roll that is generated by them in their home, in their setting, in their reality, because if you don't show the reality of the creator and the content that is being produced for the product, one, you can't demonstrate the product that you sell well, and two, it doesn't become a relatable scenario for the people that are watching the content. So for example, showing a piece of B-roll of you getting in your car, or you walking into your bathroom or into your kitchen, or picking up something off the ground in your living room as it relates to the product that you sell, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't create a likely relatable scenario if they're using stock footage, right? Or they're generating it with AI. And so you need to really be paying attention to this, because it also shows the effort on the creator's part to produce content that's at a quality level to provide that relatability and authenticity to the audience that you're marketing to. So this is another thing that we look for in, qualifying the creator as a quality creator or a quality piece of content. The fourth thing is actually demonstrating. Demonstrating is one of the core components of what actually sells on TikTok Shop. Now, you may be having a product that is hard to demonstrate. There's a range of different ways you can demonstrate products, but for some of you listening right now, it may be easy to demonstrate. Some of you may be selling something in the CPG space, which is based on taste and flavor. Some of you may be selling something that doesn't really demonstrate well. This is a core component of what we look for in the creator content and the content quality that we're looking for, because we want to make sure that the way that they're using our product or showing our product is in a way that would be accurate to how we want it to be presented to other people. So when you're looking and reviewing a creator to sample, to pay per video, or a retainer, you want to be looking at how do they actually demonstrate and show other products in their content. Are they really good at helping you get it and helping it to click for you watching the video? If you can answer those questions honestly with a yes, then that's someone that you want to have on your team and be part of your creator army, because they're going to be able to do it well for you and help you actually portray the products that you sell really well and create those impulse purchases. So these are the things that we look for in terms of effort on the creator part to be able to produce the content that we need. And so this is a very, very important component of success with the creators and also the content. Now, let's go through the execution checklist. This is what we like to see happen on the creator side and how they execute their content. So the first thing is lighting. what is their lighting situation like? Do they understand how to use something where they're sitting by a window using natural light? Do they have any lights they're using to portray or to set up their scene to make it look more aesthetic or more brighter than sitting in a dark room, not showing very much unless, for example, it's like a nighttime product or a glow in the dark product or something like that, right? Generally speaking, you can tell where creators can understand that their lighting is lit up, there's a brightness to the content they make. They understand that in order for someone to get their attention or to capture someone's attention as a customer, they have to understand that using natural light is a really important part. Now, in a lot of times, lighting is only a small component of this, because a lot of times using natural light, filming on your phone, it creates that light for you. But there's a level to understanding that the creator knows the importance of having a more lit up scene that's brighter and that can catch someone's attention, especially in those first few seconds. And throughout the video, the experience of that video as they watch it is very pleasing. The pleasing feeling comes also from just having the good lighting. The aesthetic of the clips. So there are certain creators who they get the creative component. They understand how to produce even cinematic film-like footage with a phone. It doesn't mean they need to invest a lot of time or money into equipment or anything. It's not necessarily the quality of the clip itself or the video footage itself. It's understanding how to create these very aesthetic and good feeling B-roll clips, right? And so there are certain creators, especially in like the beauty and fashion space, where that's a lot more important. Kind of think of like the Instagram type content, more refined and more intentional in how it's being presented, is being able to see how they aesthetically lay out the information, or how they aesthetically lay out the video content itself with B-roll and how they talk to the camera. You can just tell in the way that it's done that it catches their attention. There's a lot of creators out there that do this very, very well, that go viral. I remember this as one guy who, I think a lot of people call him a little bit of a psychopath in how he cleans his house, but he irons his bed sheets, he rides his bike inside, he does all these like weird things. And so like that's the type of person who understands the intention behind every clip and how that leads someone through that video to increase audience retention. And so that's just one example of many that many creators are able to understand, and that just comes with time and experience. So that's something we look for as well. How they actually film. Are they getting to the point? Are they going through the key components? Are they talking about things in a very concise way? Is it short, sweet, and concise? Those are the things that we're looking at, how they actually film it and execute it from a conversational standpoint, and how they actually talk about the products. Does it make sense? Are they clear in how they speak? Is their communication good, right? That's another thing we look at. Also the tone, right? How they actually speak. Are they excited? They have energy. Those are things that you want to look for from a creator. Is their personality bright, and do they speak to the ICP? Do they speak to the type of people that we want to actually attract for the brand? Those are things to look at as well. Tone is very important. They sound very monotone. They sound very boring and like not very excited. Those are people who aren't going to capture people's attention in the actual content, especially when people are scrolling through TikTok. Problem solution. Are they understanding the problem and solution? If your product does solve a problem and has a solution, or maybe it's a nice to have, right? It doesn't actually solve a big problem, but at least the way in which they strategically execute the video, it creates the desire to purchase. It creates the desire to impulse buy. And those things are really important to look at, because if the creator can do that, and you get a feeling of like, okay, this creator really knows how to talk about this product, that's a creator that you want to have on your side. And that would be something that we'd be looking for as well when we're manually looking over creator profiles. How they convince you. Again, this comes back to how they talk about the actual product and how they talk through their content. Are they convincing? Do they create emotion in what they actually say? Do you feel something when they talk about a product? Can you understand how they're actually authentically pitching you, right? Because it's almost like you're hiding the sales pitch through the authenticity of content and just making it look like it's an ordinary day fitting into your ordinary life. You need this product because of the X, Y, and Z, right? Do they do that in a way that convinces you in order to buy, and they help sell you the vision of what it's like to own that product and how that could actually change your life, help your life, and to improve part of your life in some way or some aspect. The next thing is the hook. You can tell when creators understand how to make good hooks, particularly when they put 2 lines of text above your head. They also say something that's very bold or very out there, maybe contrarian, or they say something that is like alarming or attention grabbing, and they're also very good at showing something in the video that gets people's attention to, lock in and actually watch the video. Do they do that well? You can tell right off the bat when people get hooked. The biggest telltale of a bad piece of content a person who doesn't know how to make hooks is when they don't talk for the first 0.5 seconds or first second, and all they're doing is breathing in. So they haven't cut out the first part of the video. They just breathe in. And that loss of time is going to lose people's attention, even those first 0.5 seconds. So that is the execution checklist and how we look at creators and what they're actually making. And so these are things that we all look for when we're manually reviewing content. So when you're manually reviewing content, you need to be looking at these things and evaluating exactly what they're doing. So that's the kind of the checklist that we look at there as well. Now, if we go down and look at the potential versus proven, this is a matrix that I put together that I think will really help you illustrate and understand a little bit more about the content components and the elements here of who you need to hire, what you need to hire for, and what you actually look for in terms of grading the creator and whether you should actually bring them on to make content for you. So let's run a scenario here where, let's say we have a creator who is, the execution checklist that we just went over, right? The execution checklist, they pass on most of the points, right? So they pass on this and they make great content. But let's say that the actual creator itself, they don't have very high GMV. So let's say that this person is on the scale and maybe they're somewhere, somewhere around like here, right? In this part of the matrix. Now, this person, for example, is someone who knows how to make good content. They have indicators of success. They have high potential to create good content that's going to generate GMV if you understand those marketing fundamentals and content fundamentals, which I've been teaching you here already. And we'll be talking about so many other things as we go through the rest of part 1 and part 2. But we need to understand that GMV isn't everything. And you may say, wait, Jordan, yes, it is. And I agree with you. GMV is very, very important. And we want to focus on GMV. But you have to understand that this TikTok shop is about leverage with creators. And if you want to get leverage with creators, you need to understand that you need to step up and help these creators actually generate GMV as well. It's not just their responsibility, because your responsibility as the owner of your brand is to help them understand how to talk about your specific products and brand and bring them on and help take someone who has high potential the same way that you would hire someone for your D2C brand to come into a position in your company to train them up and get them at a discounted rate is the same way you need to review these creators. And so what I mean by this is you may have a creator who's good at generating content. You can tell they've got all those components that go into making high quality content that you're looking for, but maybe they're just not generating GMV, or maybe their last 30 days of GMV isn't as high as what they've done previously. And so this is an opportunity for you to strike. This is an opportunity for you to pick them up for cheap and help give them an opportunity to really push the needle. So for example, this creator here has potential. And so when you look at creators who have high potential creators are people who know how to make content that may not have the GMV yet, right? Maybe they have no GMV or low GMV. These are people that you want to get on board to bring into your creator community, because if you bring them into your creator community, you can get them at a much discounted rate. And if you give them an opportunity, they're going to be much more invested in you because you've given them a chance. Just as creators take chances on you as a brand and promote your products and trust that you're going to run ads and you're going to help scale the brand, you need to do the same thing for creators, but you need to do it strategically. We don't just be blowing money everywhere. And so what you might do is, for example, this particular person, we obviously understand we don't need to talk much about this, but the perfect combination here is we've got high GMV, right? So high GMV plus we've got quality, right? Quality content, quality in how they perform, how they put everything together. And so this quality creator, let's say, you're looking for 30 videos for a month, right? Now this particular creator, maybe they have generated, let's just say they've generated 50K GMV a month, right? Now 50K GMV a month, I think it's an L4 creator, I believe. Correct if I'm wrong on that. But basically, it's a creator who is on the upper echelon of generating GMV, right? And so this creator is going to demand a lot more money from you because of the videos you want to generate, as well as the amount of GMV they've done. And so what happens is these types of people, they're so focused on getting deals and they're so focused on just generating more money, they don't really have the passion that some of these creators who are over here, who know how to put together good content, they're just waiting for their break. They're waiting for their opportunity for the right brand, the right product, the right brand to help them actually execute and generate sales to really scale and grow really, really heavily. Where these people are just like, they pitch you all sorts of different brand deals. They offer all sorts of different retainers and high amounts of money to bring them on. And they might charge, let's say, they might charge you, $3,000 to $5,000 per 30 videos, right? And so now you're out 3 to 5K to hopefully generate GMV from this particular set of videos, right? And you hope that it works. And so you're basing your your entire decision off their past 50 or 30 days of GMV being 50,000 and thinking, well, if they can generate 50,000 for someone else, they can generate that for me. The likelihood of that happening is very low, and the risk is actually higher on someone like this because you're not looking at what's in the middle. And so a lot of people, when they're looking at quality content and creators, they're actually looking more towards where this perfect combo is rather than looking towards this particular part of the, oh, actually not that part, not this whole part. They're not looking enough at this part right here. And I believe that this part right here, from what I've seen, is the high potential part. And this is the part where you can pick up creators for such a little amount and they're excited to work with you. They're motivated. They're going to spend more time with you. They're going to help you more. And you might pay them $25 a video, right? Which then, you know, looking at that over a 30-day period, right? That's $750 for 30 videos, right? Well, I didn't mean to type times, but equals 30 videos, right? And so you could hire, let's see, what could you hire? You could hire, let's see, 1,500. You could hire 4 high potential. I'm just going to put high potential creators for 3K, right? 3K. Or you could hire 1 for 3,000. You're going to get 30 videos in this one, right? 30 vids. But over here, you're going to get 120 vids. And so what happens is, what do we talk about in the beginning of this video? You need to focus on quality content first and then scale with volume. The way you do that most efficiently is with people in this range. Now, I'm not saying that the only people you need to hire is people who don't have any GMV. But what I am saying is you need to hire more people who have less GMV than just going after the big people who have massive amounts of GMV. And so maybe you look maybe the sweet spot for you is right here in the middle, right? Right here in the middle where it overlaps between the low and the high. That's where you need to be looking and focusing to find high quality creators and content and generating high content. And that allows you to get the volume that you need. So hopefully that makes sense. And I love talking about this concept because I think it's a really, really important part of our methodology at X Factor and how we actually do the work we do with brands and how to help actually scale. So hopefully that is helpful for you as well. Now, let's talk about the micro creators. Now, what's crazy is, we talked about this a little bit already, is that these micro creators actually make up a large majority of the GMV. And the reason for this is because a lot of these big creators, they're not willing to put in the time needed in order to actually execute for your brand. All they're doing is it's almost like a pump and dump, right? The pump and dump for them is like, if I can get paid X amount of dollars to make X amount of videos, I'm just going to make the videos with, you know, they have a skill set, right? They've obviously gotten to a certain point because of their skill set, but they're just less incentivized to work with you specifically. They're just trying to land as many brand deals as they can to generate as much income as they can because they get commission as well as retainer. With these micro creators, they have a fire, right? They have a fire under them. They want to just explode. They want to become a full-time creator and they want growth. They want to help you grow because they care about making creator content or doing their side hustle as something that's going to complement them in their families and their lives and to facilitate their goals and be more motivated to work with a good brand who cares about them and can show them the time of day, because that's the perfect combination. The perfect combination is, for the relationship, is creators who care, right? And spend the extra time. And it's also brands that care. And so you need to care about these creators. So you need to make sure that you have creators who care, and you also need to have brands that care. And when you have these two things, this is what allows you to actually grow. You've heard me talk here on the channel all about building your brand inner circle, your creator community that allows you to facilitate these relationships with high potential creators and high GMV creators, and really facilitate building that culture internally within your brand. This is how you do this, and this is how you find micro creators at a fraction of the cost that actually help you move the needle, and you can work with them to help them identify what high GMV videos do you currently have in GMV Max. Are you sharing a behind the scenes video showing them exactly what's going on and what creators are generating the most GMV for your brand? So the last thing that I want to highlight here for the micro creators is the micro creators are the ones who generate the most GMV. Often find that when you're looking at the best performing content in GMV Max, it is the micro creators that are generating the most sales. And if that's the case, if you go and do an audit right now and you have a look at how much they're generating, you'll be able to see and prove this to yourself. Is you can look at their profile, look, are they a big creator? Do they have millions of followers? And you'll be able to see that in most cases, these creators are not big time creators. They're really not. They're the people who don't have a lot of followers and they're just cranking out videos and they know how to make good content. So they don't care enough. really, the big creators. Hopefully this helps you to understand the creator relationship. And if you go and do an audit yourself and just go look at what's actually happening, that will give you some clarity as well. If you're a 7, 8, or 9-figure D2C brand, you're looking to start and scale on TikTok Shop, you can book a growth session down below in the description with my team and I. We can explore what TikTok Shop looks like for you and how this could work into your business and how it could help you scale your D2C platforms across every other channel. This is meant to be an exploratory call. We go through and look at what this looks like and share with you how we can actually help you and if that makes sense to work together. We do not work with every brand. There are certain pre-qualifications that we look for to make sure we give us the best chance of success together. So you can do that down below. If you're a brand that isn't quite ready yet, then you can go down below also and complete the quiz that will help you understand a little bit more about TikTok Shop for your brand. Really appreciate you guys watching. In part 2, we're going to be breaking down some really core important unit economics to help you understand what actually helps you to get a higher volume of content at the quality level and the standard that you need, and some other core components that are actually very, very important for you to get right in order to output the quality of content to get you to profitability and scale. So part 2 will be linked right here when it goes live. Make sure you check out this video next, and I'll see you in part 2.